Welcome to the Christie Taylor Show. I'm your host, Christie Taylor, and it's officially autumn. Oh, I'm so excited about it. That means we get a chance to wear those boots and maybe just a little fur, depending on what part of the country you're in. But I tell you, we're going to go to Cali right now, though, San Diego to be exact. Have an opportunity to catch back up with an amazing hip hop artist who I had a chance to chit chat with on IG. And I just want to make sure that we caught back up with. Who is Easy? Born and raised in San Diego, Easy is a talented writer and hip hop artist. From the age of 5, he had a love for entertainment due to his mother's love of music that always filled their home. Yet sports soon became his focus. Now, during his college basketball years, his love of hip hop began to take over. He realized his dream was not about going to the NBA, but more about performing on stage. Over the past 8 years, he has remained committed to the music career he started and his growing fan base. During the pandemic, Easy dropped his single Shoot My Shot with a music video featuring NBA's Norman Powell, former Toronto Raptor, now with the Portland Trailblazers. Easy also, check this out, has a clothing line and is currently working on his fall 2021 collection. Now, this past summer, Easy's new single was featured in the AND1 Sneaker commercial promoting the Day One shoe that he helped his friend Norman Powell and their Inner Circle co-design. Now, his latest album, Wasn't Always Easy, was released on his 28th birthday this past September 7th, and he celebrated with a trip to Costa Rica. Now, we had a chance to catch up with Easy while in vacation mode on an IG Live to discuss the album drop. Now he's back. Oh, yes. To delve into his love of basketball, hip hop, and fashion. And check this out, the major money moves that he's making, fusing all three. I want you all to help me welcome to the Christie Taylor Show, Easy. What's up, Easy?
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
You know, you got a lot going on in that bio. I tell you, hip hop, basketball, fashion. Let's just, first of all, San Diego, born and
hmm
raised. Kind of give me the backstory of your love of music and your love of basketball.
yeah, obviously, my first love, my first passion was basketball. I used to dream of going to the NBA, and once I got to college, I kind of realized that that wasn't going to happen anymore. So, I always had a love for music, like you said. I grew up listening to my mom, listening to my grandfather, or watching my grandfather dance. He was a huge dancer before he passed away. So I always had the love of music. And once I got to college, I just realized that I wasn't going to the NBA, so I decided to dive into the music, and here I am now.
You know, I like the fact that you were able to come up with something else that you love because for the last 8 years, you've been going pretty hard. Let's talk about your musical journey and not just, performing on stage, but just the way you've been making your moves in the industry.
Um, I mean, in terms of what though, if you don't mind me asking.
A lot of times people can just perform music locally and not have national or international ambitions, but you're really taking it to the next level, and will be interested in knowing how you came to that conclusion.
I mean, just staying persistent. I mean, there's been times where I could have quit. Years back. So, in anything you're trying to do that's positive, you're always gonna run into trial and error. And I just took all those lessons and turned them into positive. And that's what my whole brand is about. That's what I'm about. Is no matter what you're into, no matter what you're going through, just tell yourself it's easy. And I just think that's the only thing that's kept me going this long is knowing that as long as I keep going, it'll happen one day, and hopefully it's someday soon.
I like the fact that one of the things that I know that your motto is that you wake up every day affirming that everything is going to go well and it's going to be easy. How did you come into that, that thought process of doing mantras and affirmations?
I had a friend like I'm big on like laws of attraction. I'm big on manifestation. And I had a friend that I used to, like I go out and I watch or not watch, but I go look at like dream houses that I love that I see myself being in. Um, and I took a friend out there with me one day, and she was a little older than me. She's about 30 or 36, 37. She's like a very good friend of mine. And I was telling her like, yo, I can't wait to get one of these houses. I guess my dream home, and it's like her response to that was kind of like, or too bad, it's too late for me. And from that conversation on, I just told myself like, why do people think like, you got a couple years on your age? Why do people think it's over? So from there on, I just told myself like, you know what? Instead of breaking, I mean, she's already, to me, it's like you already lost when you talk like that. You've already lost. You've already lost. So I just literally changed the narrative and changed my dialogue and start saying like, you know what? Instead of saying it's impossible for me to accomplish, or instead of saying it's not obtainable, I just told myself that it is. I told myself no matter how hard it gets, it'll be, just tell yourself it's easy, and eventually that's what it becomes. Like Kobe wasn't always Kobe, but he got in the gym, he worked until the point that it became easy for him on the court to drop 50 points and 60 points and win 6 championships. So that's just the same mentality I use every day I wake up.
So when it comes to the music, you're applying the same principles of seeing it in your mind and then executing it with your efforts on a continuous basis, letting your actions match your mindset. I love it. Totally love that. And of course, your words begin to shape the reality of not just life, but also the people around you. And I understand you have a very powerful inner circle. Let's talk about your music production team and how you all approach the music.
So I've been working with my producer for about 2 years now. Actually about 2.5 years. We've been working on an album for about 2 years. But we literally go to the studio every single day. Every song that you hear on my album, something that I created from scratch. I got to pick. I got to pinpoint every single sound that I feel like my voice sounds good with. And then from there, I go out and I experience certain things. I come back to the studio. I kind of give my producer the vibe I was in, or some certain things that I've seen, and he helps me create a masterpiece from scratch. So that's basically the whole routine we had to create this album. And then from there on, I knew that my album has been done. But my producer somebody broke into his car and ended up stealing the hard drive, stealing the laptop. So it pushed me back like 2 months. I was already ready to drop my album before my birthday. But I shed some tears about it. It was a lot of, just 2 years of money down the drain, time down the drain that we can't get back. But again, I dealt with the emotions, and then I said, you know what, we got to figure it out, and that's what we did. And then from there on, I went to Vegas with my brother. Excuse me. I reached out to a guy who did my cover art for my album. His name is Max Zay. He's a part of my production team now. And he's a creative director, and literally in a week span, he was able to help me bring my vision to life. So yeah, that's really how the album came about. Like I said, I've been working on it for 2 years, but it took a week to finally. In that week, I met him. He helped me get my album done. And now, and now, he's a very good friend of mine. And I continue. I mean, and I plan on continuing to do business with him.
I like the fact how divine order is really working in your life. But of course, that's because you're speaking things that are matching your long-term life goals and your money moves. And the people that sometimes we have to attract into our lives can come through odd situations like the episode that you said happened to your producer. Now, here's a question that for those who see that A upside down, and if they see the way that you spell your name easy, it's what some people would think is a VSY, easy, but it's actually an upside down A. Let's talk about how you came up with your name, and more importantly, the unique spelling of the name.
Okay, so the spelling, I'll start with the spelling. The spelling, we spell it EVSY. A lot of people think it's pronounced EVSY, but it's not. It's definitely pronounced easy. I just, I stand on being different. There's a couple of clothing brands out there right now who also have the name Easy, but theirs might be spelled EA $Y, or EAZY. There's different ways. You can't really copyright fashion to the fullest extent of.
Right.
Oh, you can't use the Easy, the name, but you can change the spelling, and that's what that's why I literally said, I was like, how can I make my brand, unique? And I felt like turning the A upside down was perfect. Nobody has done it, and it still looks amazing. So that's kind of how I came up with it.
It looks good. Now, okay, as a hip hop artists, I know that I'll just say the blueprint has been to always do more than the music. That's been kind of like the blueprint in hip hop for a long time, that you're not just in it to sell the records, but to build out a brand and to build an empire. So for you, basketball, first love, hip hop, loving basketball. I always think of that movie. Then moving
That's my
into
favorite
hip
movie.
hop. That's one of your favorites.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yes, I love that movie. And now you're into fashion. Out of all the things that you as a hip hop artist could have gotten into, what made fashion your choice?
I just always, since seventh, eighth grade, I was just always into fashion. I
Mm-hmm.
used to create, back in, not gonna say back in the day, but when I was younger, when I was younger, like seventh, eighth grade, I would paint on shirts and I would sell them at school. Some people's hustles,
What?
yeah, some people's hustles was selling candy. Mine was, I don't even know what I didn't even really know what I was doing at the time. I just enjoyed fashion. And I was painting
Wow.
on shirts and I would sell them at school. I would paint on shoes from Walmart, sell them at school. And I just think I just always been into fashion, from a very early age. My mom has like 300 pairs of shoes in her, in her
Ooh.
closet. So it's like growing up seeing, I just always around like my grandfather. I always speak about them because that's who I was around the most. My grandfather always had on different type of suits, Kangol hats to match. So I always think that I've had music and fashion. But when I got started to get older, I started to see, certain guys, and women. Everybody thinks fashion is designer stuff, which is,
Right.
if you have the money to for that to be your everyday fashionable wear, then so be it. But I'm the type of guy, I can go to a thrift store, I can go to Ross. I mean, I got designer stuff too. Don't get me wrong, but I can go to Ross, I can go to the thrift stores, and I can put an outfit together for literally $50 in my pocket and still
Wow.
look better than all the
Yeah.
people you see with designers. So that's what really got me into fashion, was like, fashion is not just designer stuff. You can look good, you
Yeah.
can look fly without spending
Mhm.
$2,000, $3,000 on a shirt or a jacket.
It's interesting that you said that, Easy, because I was looking at a interview that talked about, the origins of fashion, but more importantly, modern fashion, and how
Mhm.
so many fashion designers will go to the thrift store and reinvent something from Salvation Army, put their spin on it, and sell it for
Mhm.
$10,000. And the truth is that fashion is really more your persona and uh, how you present yourself. And like you said,
Mhm.
if you can put that together and have your signature look, your signature style, your signature flow, all of that is fashion.
Yeah.
And adding to that. So let's talk about your fall collection. I understand that you are in the midst of, as we're promoting the album, which they can check out on YouTube and also all
Mhm.
digital platforms, which of course the name of the album is
Wasn't always easy.
wasn't always easy. It wasn't always easy. And of course, you telling your story through your music and also talking about your fashion line, understanding that you wanted to be unique in the space, but also affordable and more importantly, having your signature style. So let's talk about the fall collection. What can we expect?
So for right now, like I said, I got a creative directive team now. So what we're gonna do is sit down and really try to come up with what's in. And I think in the fall, and you're starting to trickle down to like fall and winter time. So you'll see a
Mhm.
lot of hoodies from me. You'll see a lot of two piece jogger suits. That'll be my main focus just to start. Probably a couple beanies here and there, but more so it's just comfy wear. I want to make comfy wear for the fall. Something that you
Okay.
can put on, comfy but fashionable as well. Not
Yes,
just
it
comfy,
extremely
just
is. Oh, I think
yeah,
some of them call it what athleisure, like athletic
yeah,
wear that's leisure or luxury.
of
Yeah,
course,
it's definitely we're in an age where people just want to be comfortable.
yeah.
I love one of the comfortable fashions that's out that's made it back, I should say, is caftans. Just those very
Hmm.
luxurious flowing one piece dresses that just flow with you.
Yes, yes.
Especially the world is 10. So going back to your athletic wear, your comfort wear, are you
Hmm.
overseeing the graphic design, the artwork, or do you have a team? You say you have a creative team now?
Yeah, I mean, I have a creative team, but I will always in anything I do, I'll always make sure that I have an input in anything that goes on with my brand. But I also give anybody that I'm working with creatively, I always give them full creative control to go out, come up with your ideas because that's their expertise. Like I don't let anybody come in my expertise in the studio and tell me how I need to be rapping or how I need to be doing this and that. So I always give them full creative control, but I always leave that window open as well for me to be able to. I don't like that. Let's try this again. Um,
Mm,
so
I
yeah, I
like that.
always have my hands on for sure.
In addition to your own clothing line, which of course is called Easy, and I
Mhm.
know they could probably cop your tees and your athletic wear and your comfort wear through Instagram. So make sure you follow him on Instagram. It's scrolling across the ticker right now at Easy or Nothing. Check him out on Easy or Nothing. That's EVSY or Nothing. Check him
Mhm.
out. Follow him on all his social. But also, in addition to designing your own collection, let's talk about your friendship with Norman Powell that I talked about in your bio, and you're co-designing a shoe for AND1, which has a long
Yes.
history with hip hop. Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
It's amazing. I ended up he ended up calling me, or not just me, but a couple of guys in our group, and he wanted us to come out to Portland for a photo shoot, and so I was just going out there to purely support him and be a part of something huge. I mean, you grow up dreaming to be a part of something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I went, and when I got there, Norm was just kind of like, "Yo, like play your music." Mind you, I had been working my album the whole time, so he knew I was working on the album, but he hadn't heard it at the time. So I just played a couple songs of the album, and the AND1 production team came up to me and was like, "Yo, let me ask you a question. Like, whose music was that you was playing?" I was like, "That's me. That's me." And they was like, "Yeah." They was like, "No way, that's not you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." They're like, "No, we thought that was Drake or somebody." I'm like, "Nah, that's definitely me."
Wow.
Yeah. So from there on, I kept playing the music. I walked off to go grab my second phone. I came back in the room. They pulled me aside again and was like, "Yo, the last song that you just played, we want to put this behind Norm's new commercial." And so
Whoa.
yeah, so it just happened. Everything happened organically. And like I said, I mean, I think stuff like that happens because I put that in the universe years ago,
Yeah.
and it just came to fruition organically. And that's why I'm a firm believer of laws of attraction. What you put out in the universe, it'll come back. Yeah, so from there on, he let us create it. He calls us a couple months after that. He lets us create a shoe.
Wow.
Before that, and one ended up putting my song behind this commercial. Of course, a couple months later, he calls us, tells four of us, five of us that he wants us to create a shoe with AND1. He gave us all full creative control to do so.
Wow.
And it was just so amazing to me to be a part of something like that. Literally the next day, I went to the studio and I told my producer, what we did, and I wanted to make a song about it, and we ended up coming up with a song called "Imagine This." I was gonna call it "New Deal," but I just feel like that was kind of cliche. So I ended up calling it "Imagine This" because being a part of something like that is something that you can just imagine. You can only imagine to be a part of, um, but it's really our reality. So I called the song "Imagine This."
You
And
know,
that's how that song came
truly,
about.
the power of imagining is something that we're all accustomed to doing as children, but as we age, oftentimes we lose the art of imagining. And I'm
Yes.
so grateful to hear that you're using that magic and that power from within to create the world and the life that you want, and to be
Yes.
able to do that with a friend. And talk about, you said that as you were playing your music, the team was like, they thought it was Drake. Now we know you have a connection with Toronto. Let's talk about that.
hmm Um, I mean, Toronto is literally like my second home. I was kind of, well, not even kind of. I was very, very, very upset when they traded him because I know how bad he wanted to stay there, and I feel like I had a lot
You're
of
talking
unfinished
about
business.
Norman. Norman was playing for the
Yes,
Raptors. Yes.
yeah, the Toronto Raptors, and I was building so many different connections out there, and I felt like I had a lot of unfinished business. I wanted to shoot a couple snow videos in Toronto. I'm from San Diego, so we don't ever get snow, so I thought that would have been very neat for my consumers on the West Coast to see on a whole nother lifestyle that we live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so Toronto it'll always be my second home. Drake is literally like my number one, number two favorite artist. So I would definitely, if he ever reached out to me and wanted to work or wanted to collab, wanted me to be part of OVO, I would definitely love to be a part of it because that's a huge. I mean, my music is very very influenced by Drake. I would say I get a lot of compliments and a lot of feedback. People saying that my music gives me kind of Drake vibes, and I love that because I see so many different things in life. I travel a lot, so I know my music it has to be bigger than San Diego.
Yeah.
And my city doesn't really understand it right now because all they really know is San Diego. But that's why I'm trying to push for the global consumers. Because that's my lifestyle. I love traveling. I love seeing new things. So
Yeah,
again,
including
Drake,
Costa Rica.
Drake, yeah.
Happy birthday to you again.
Thank you, thank you.
So how was as a globetrotter, as a person who has a lot of wanderlust, how was Costa Rica for you?
It was amazing. It was out of Costa Rica or Bahamas. And I ended up telling my girlfriend that I wanted to go to Costa Rica. I just thought it would be a way better situation for us to go see and experience because a lot of people go to Bahamas. Not everybody goes to Costa Rica. And it's beautiful over there. Beautiful to wake up to have your resort literally in the middle of a jungle. And being able to go. I mean, after I got off the phone with you out there, I was able to go zip line through the jungle. I went on one of the zip lines had like a 600-yard pass through. So you just like I'm scared of heights. So for me to be able to like face my fear
Yeah.
and go do something, or just to go be able to create memories that you know just be able to create memories is just amazing. And to be able to I ended up doing ATVs as well. And our
Oh,
tour guide, he took us like literally from the resort through the city. We got to see how they live. We got to see a small neighborhood out there.
yeah.
We just got to, we went into one of the small markets. We got to drink some Costa Rican beer. Then he took us to like three
You
different.
were getting your native on. You were acting like I'm
Yeah,
from
for
here.
sure. But see, that to me when you travel, that's like I feel like you should want to do that. I mean, as long as it's safe. Like, you don't want to travel and then go off by yourself. Like if
Right.
you got a couple people with you, I always stand on going to see how other people live. It humbles me and it makes me it makes me come back to the music world and be like, you know what, I have to talk about the experience that I literally went through. You see the way people live. It kind of makes you appreciate as messed up as the U.S. is, it makes you appreciate it out here
Yeah.
because it's different over there. I mean, the guy took it on the ATVs. He took us to a beach, and he showed us how the workers go out in small little like boats, like maybe like 6 passenger boats, and they're not like no super souped up boats. Like they're handmade. You
Right.
can tell. Um, and uh, the workers, they collect fish. You can get a
Right.
kilo of fish in Costa Rica for $2. A kilo of
Whoa.
fish. I don't know if y'all, that's a big fish
That's a
for $2.
lot.
So I was telling him like, yo, if we had that in San Diego, I'll be eating fish every single day. Yeah,
I love
but
it.
yeah.
I love
So
it.
that was my Costa Rican experience. I felt like I was really in Costa Rica. I didn't feel like I was on a resort.
Right, right. So easy. You dropped an album. You celebrated your birthday, and the album dropped in Costa Rica. Now you're back stateside. You're back. And what are you doing to promote the album? And what can we look forward to for the rest of 2021 and 2022 as we come up to the wrap up?
So my biggest event now, like I said, was getting with my production team and coming up with a campaign to keep promoting and keep pushing the album, get the streams up. I'm definitely going to be working on a lot of videos, maybe like 4 or 5 videos off the album. So you should definitely be on the lookout for that. Um, Also, I'm working on a pop-up event in San Diego where I'm gonna do. I know it's kind of out of date, but I think it'll be unique. Like I said, I always stand on how can I do things differently.
Yes.
I want to go out and get 100 hard copies of my CD. I want to sign them. I'm gonna make the
Oh,
presentation. Yeah, I'm gonna make the presentation nice. It's gonna come in a box or maybe a bag or something, with my logo on it. I'm gonna do all handwritten cards for all 100 boxes. sign the CD. I'm gonna number the CDs. So, you know,
A collector's
say I blow,
item.
yeah, exactly. Say I blow up. You know, somebody can be like, yo, I got the #1 CD of the hard
Yeah.
copies that he dropped.
Yes.
You know, so
That's
that's my
smart.
biggest plan. Yeah, I want to do a pop-up shop. And I'm gonna add some of my merchandise in the bundle as well. So it's gonna be my album, handwritten letter, merchandise of my clothing brand, just to make my consumers feel appreciated. Like, yo, he really took time, and he took time in making sure
Yeah.
we were appreciated, you know, for supporting him.
Easy,
So
when we had our IG live and you were in Costa Rica, we hit on the fact that turning 28, you have some $1 million money moves that you have.
yeah,
So what do you want to say to all those who are starting and your own inspiration to make your dreams come true?
don't give up first and foremost. Even when the close people next to you are telling you, you should do something else. Don't give up. Stay persistent. Like I said, wake up every day in your hardest moments and tell yourself it's easy. And eventually, you know, those doors you'll start kicking those doors down, and it'll happen organically for you as well. I know everybody's struggle is different. So I'm not gonna tell people uh, don't go through the emotions of your struggle. But after
Yeah.
you go through your emotions, after you deal with all your emotions, get right back to the grind. And that's what this band is about. You know, I even got it tatted on me, UTG. It's my brother's brand, Norman Powell's brand. It's called Understand the Grind. And I feel like once you understand it, once you really, like, when that guy has $100 million, he gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, act like he doesn't. That's
Wow.
understanding the grind. You know,
Understanding the grind.
yeah. So if anybody is listening and in the same position as me, understand the grind. Like, literally, don't just say this is what you want. Like, you literally gotta wake up and sleep it, eat it, dream it,
Yeah.
and then do it all over again.
Wow. And I see that you
Do it
have
all
that
again.
UTG as part of your pendant as well. So
Yeah,
I see your pendant. Yeah, I see your pendant. So
yeah,
understand the
yeah.
grind, understanding the grind. Well, thank you so much, Easy. Any last, words, how people can support your music, watch your videos, where can they go to do all
Um,
things Easy?
just type in EVSY on YouTube, on my videos will pop up. My album was on every streaming platform
Yeah.
you can think of: Spotify, Apple Music, so on and so forth. Typing wasn't always easy. Easy spelled the same way as my name, EVSY. Um, yeah, and be on the lookout for a couple more videos over the next 2 or 3 months. I'm gonna be flooding you guys with a lot of content. I was talking to my brother Norman Powell yesterday, and he was telling me right now it's go time.
Go time.
I gotta really kind of create. I make good music. I gotta create my story.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next two weeks, is figuring out what my actual story is.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, his story is understanding the grind, and he shows you. So yeah,
Right.
my story, my brand wasn't always easy, but what is my story? So that's what I'm gonna be
What's your
working on the
story?
next 2 weeks. I'll be working on the next 2 weeks. I'm not. I mean, I know what it is, but I want to put it on paper before I start talking about it.
I love it. I love it. Well, make your major money moves. And I know by 30, you said
Yes,
that's your
ma'am.
goal. That's your goal. And I know you're going to do it. Understanding the grind,
Yes,
you're going to
ma'am.
definitely make it happen. Thank you,
Yes.
Easy, for stopping by the Christie Taylor Show. Be sure to follow him on his Instagram account, Easy, EVSY or nothing. And be sure to check him out on YouTube. Just type in EVSY. And of course, you can always support the Christie Taylor Show as well by checking us out on all social media platforms, also podcast platforms, and watch the replay on YouTube. Thank you all for
Yes.
checking
Yes.
us out. Until next
Thank you
time.
for having me. Thanks for having me once again.